Saturn will deliver our freight on our starship, sailing through the interplanetary strait. With a hardy crew and a cargo of dreams, through the nebula's mist we'll forge our own schemes. In the vastness of space where no man has been, we'll navigate, chart the unexplored galactic highway. Heave ho, mateys, upon the starry sea, we're the spacemen sailing through infinity. With our voices loud and our spirits free, we'll voyage across the celestial sea. Voyage across the celestial sea.
All right. Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest stream. Good morning, Dagger. Fallen Angel. I seem to be having a problem with the bot there. Let me see if it's running. Should be running. I did connect them. How is everybody doing? Let me just double check that the settings are correct for the bot. You know, technology and all that stuff. Dun, dun, dun. I suppose we can turn this music up a touch. That's better. Right, just busy dealing with some technical difficulties. It wouldn't be a stream if there weren't technical difficulties. Waiting for people to roll in. I think I forgot to authorize or give it enough permissions, Fallen. Internet's a bit slow today, so take a little while for stuff to load. Okay, the bot should be connected. Or connected shortly. I think. Not a problem, Fallen. Might as well get it sorted out sooner rather than later. Hey, there we go. I probably will need to change the name. Yeah, there's always a bit of a difference between the two servers. So I stream to a single server and then it splits it out into two. I need to start talking with my left hand. So it splits it out into two. So the only thing I can think of that will cause the delay is the ingestion servers taking the data in. Yes. Fallen, I'm just going to disconnect it and rename it, so people don't think it's me. Just give me 1 second. How do I change it? I wonder where I got it. It is very much appreciated, Fallen. Any idea how I changed the bot's name? Yeah, the handshake could be, or it could also be that the ingestion servers are a bit under strain, so it could take a little bit longer. They also run it through a codec, so the processing time to compress the video could be a problem. It could be a lot of things. Name. It's not allowing me to change the name. It's currently my name. Well, the channel's name. But I'm not seeing how to change it. Maybe I'm missing something. Handshake is when two servers want to communicate with each other. They send out specific details that only the other server will know. It's called a handshake. So as to not be, random servers connecting. So both servers are sending information that the other one would have, like a username, password sort of thing. And once they've confirmed that both it is the correct server that they're communicating with, it's called a handshake. Sandro, I'll look into that. It shouldn't be, but I'll look into it. Just making a note of it. Well, it's also a term that's not used in, like, everyday life. I'm busy looking for commands. Or I can just Google it. How do I change the name of my stream elements bot? That doesn't help me at all. Hope everyone's doing well on this, what is it, Thursday. One more day, and we're at the weekend. Very, very nice. Settings. Join. I have no idea how to change it. Right, the exciting life of a streamer. Although we'll all be glad that now I can get sponsorships from Stream Elements. Woohoo! Don't know. Fair enough, Fallen. Thursday to me is... Oh, I work 6 days a week, so my only day off is Saturday, really. Yeah, it's not giving me an option to change. So, there we go. Oh, it's much appreciated, Doug. Thank you for popping past. I know it's a weird time, but this is basically the start of my workday, so it's 10 a.m. for me. But it does end up being a very weird time for most Americans, especially if they're not working late shift or early shift. But it's still appreciated. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, you're putting from a major data set, so you want to give the search parameters more detail. Just making sure that all the stuff that needs to be closed is closed. Right. Right. Thank you for the kind words. It's much appreciated. All right, we're up to 14 people, and that's fantastic. Now the question is, I played around with the settings a bit for the goals. Let's try this again. Hi, Dagger. Thank you for the $5 to Super Chat. It's very much appreciated. And it's my pleasure. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. Okay. I don't know why the goal isn't changing between the three goals. Yeah, I mean, the Twitch is always going to be, for a good long while, a lot less than the YouTube. Mainly because of the audience size. Just setting stuff up. You guys have any questions? You want to chat? You can just chat. I've got chat open so that I can respond while I fiddle with some settings. Unfortunately, some of these things you can only really fiddle with live, which is not the greatest. Thank you for the... Oh, it's the goal. It's working now. Good. Subscription. Okay. I think I had to manually reset it. Now it should cycle through the different goals. I don't know why I changed to 210, but sure. We can live with that. We can definitely live with that. Right, I think we're doing well. Huh? Fair enough, Fallen. Fair enough. Africa is definitely a place to take over, if you're so inclined. Some have done it before. The Egyptians, for instance, conquered most of Africa. So did the Greeks. And some others. All right. I think that is the goals sorted. should look nice. Oh, it looks nice. Okay, so now on to work stuff. I'm reading a story. Righty. Hi Dagger. Desperation, mostly. When I started this channel, we were pretty desperate for money. So I took a gamble. I combined two thoughts that I'd had in the past. One was I was listening to a lot of narration content while playing games, and always wondered why there was only horror narration and not any other type. And then throughout my life, people have said I've had a nice radio voice. So when things got desperate enough, I was like, let me try. What's the worst that's going to happen? And then I put everything I had into it. And it was succeeded. And that's basically it. Not sure what we would have done if this didn't work, but that's for alternate universe me to deal with. This universe me is just glad that it did. Right. For those of you who are new, I'm going to paste this and the story. Then I shall assign voices to the characters where needed, and then I shall narrate it. That is the general idea. If you do have any questions about the channel or voice acting or narrating, I will do my best to answer them, although I do not consider myself an expert in the field. Yeah, I mean, I've had no formal training, I've had nothing. I started the channel at the age of 37, yeah. Which is not the normal age to start a YouTube channel, but there we go. Thankfully, the first stories that I did got some traction, enough to say that it was, worth it. So I just continued and then tried improving. Or I found the job later in life. Because, I mean, you got to remember, or understand rather than remember, that voice acting and narrating weren't things when I was in school. These were not professions. You could sure not make money out of it. So when people said that I had a voice for radio, that's really what they meant. But to get into radio is its own ball of worms. So desperation drove me to do this, which is not bad. I do enjoy it now. It's not that in the beginning I didn't enjoy it because I didn't have time to enjoy it. That's the desperation part. Now that things are less dire, well, very much less dire. I can enjoy it, get in the swing of things. Liquid. I'd say probably the Cockney accent is decent, and my Scottish one is okay. Well, mainly because my dad is English and has a Cockney accent, and my mom was Scottish and, well, had a Scottish accent. To me, not a very strong Scottish accent, but other people would say she had a decently strong accent. So it's the two accents I've had the most interaction with. I dagger if I went for an American accent, which I've got a kind of one brewing, it would probably be a general American accent or a central American accent, mainly because it's easier to understand. So any super thick accent is actually bad, because most of your audience won't understand it. Deuce? I don't know. I wish I had an answer for you. My stamina is still not enough to record more videos, more than one video a day. If I want to do series channel, I need to record 4 to 7 videos a day. So I'm not even 15% of the way recovered. So it could be months. Okay, I think this is mostly spoken by one person. It'll definitely be months. TFOS comes first. It earns me more money. Its reach is wider. And, you know, we live in a world where that is a bit important. I'm going to do this in M1 as well. Mainly because it's such a long passage. As far as I can tell, it is most of the story in one single voice. So it's easier on the voice just to do it in my normal accent. Yep. Okay. Thanks, Dussault. I mean, I wish I could do it faster, but the stamina thing is taking quite a while to come back. Thank you, Tyson. It's very much appreciated. I'm glad you enjoy it. I really am. Okay, so basically this is all in one voice. So, not going to be too much of the voice work on this one, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Good afternoon, morning, evening. Squirrel Lords Gaming. Overtime is always good. Well, it's good if they pay you. Recovery's going well, I think. With the upgraded resistance on the physio, it does warn my voice a bit. And then there was yesterday, it was just weird with the sleeping medication. So my voice was very, very dry, which is not great, to be quite frank. Good morning, Colin. I hope you're doing well. The recovery is getting there. It's getting there. So I went to the doctor on Monday. I have full range for the first time in possibly my adult life, or good long while. We don't know when I got my partial vocal cord paralysis, but it's probably been there for a good while. So now I have the full range of an adult male, which is great, which means new voices in the future. But the big thing now is working on stamina. So that's what the streams are about. We're working on the stamina that way. We're narrating, so kicking the channel off, reminding the algorithm that I'm still around, kicking, screaming at the algorithm, which is the only thing you can do with an algorithm, is just scream at it. Just constantly scream at it. I think earlier this week, we managed to do 2 stories in one video, so that's great. We're getting there. It's going to be a slong process. Good night, iDagger. I hope that you sleep well and have a fantastic evening. Right, so we can close this. Move this over here. We can open up Audacity. Fair enough to salt, but the longer I don't create videos, the worse the channel does. So there is a time and money constraint on how long I cannot work. But 1 story a day is fine. I try to keep track of my voice every day, just sort of give it is it good or is it not? And we've been doing okay. Good morning, Brian. I hope you're doing well. Tyson's, well, depends on the type of voice acting, but grab a cell phone with a recording app, grab a book, and read. Read aloud. Practice. Practice makes perfect. Lots and lots of practice. However many hours of narrations I've done on the channel, I've probably done 5 times that amount of narrating just crap stuff. So probably close to 10,000 hours. Would be my guess. Or, no, probably closer to 5,000 hours. But it's practice, practice, practice. Any skill, you need to practice. And the cool thing is you don't have to do it in front of people. You don't have to post it online. You just record it on your phone, listen back, realize that you don't like hearing your own voice, because nobody does. And then keep doing that until you're okay with your own voice. And you're doing better at narration or voice acting. Actually, now that I think about it, it's probably closer to 10,000 than it is 5,000, but helicopter, I think, or a high-flying car. No, helicopter. Right. Now, time for a story. For those that are new, I record the videos like this. And yes, you can see the green screen. But that is because this raw video is going to go to the editor, and the editing software is better at removing the green screen. So we record like this. So it does mean that notifications and alerts are off. No chat on screen, stuff like that. And need to sit up straight. Which... my chair is actually at the wrong angle. Alright, that's better. Glasses off. The glasses reflect the lights sitting behind my screens, so it doesn't look nice. Looks better because you can see the lights in my eyes. It's just the lights behind my computer. Phone. Right. Greetings, ladies and managers, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet, read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called Do Not Let the Humans Unify, written by Captain Candy. The following is a transcript of the last account of Yahweh, the Irredeemable, on his own crimes after the Sol 3 cover-up was found. Dear judges, dear counsel, anyone who listens to, watches, or reads this documentation in the future, I have a single warning to give. But first, allow me to apologize to the entire galaxy for what I have done. I am not apologizing for engineering a sapient species or wiping out the budding native sentience, nor am I apologizing for making them for slave labor to get some easy gold. I am not apologizing for a single one of the crimes that have been discovered. No, what I am sorry for is far, far worse than that. The species that I made, the humans, they'll get out eventually. And when they do, the galaxy will be theirs and no others. Let me tell you all the story of the events that occurred on this planet from my creation of humanity to their revolution. Allow me to tell you all of their history and what I have done in order to prevent their unity at all costs. When my race, the Anunnaki, found Earth or Sol 3, we saw a world in its primeval forested stage. The budding sentients there had started using stone tools and were developing art and culture. This species was strong, absurdly so by me, they were smart, too smart for their own good. They weren't fast, but they could run for dozens of miles without rest. Their weakness was their insane biology burned through 1.5 times more calories than my humans. When I saw these creatures, I knew there would be no chance of subduing them. So, I began the process of engineering a variant, a weaker, dumber, less enduring race. By me, I'm glad... Oh, okay, he's using by me as to say like, oh God, or something like that. It's a very weird way of saying it. By me, I'm glad I did. I don't even want to think of what the Neanderthals would have been capable of considering what my humans did. When I saw these Neanderthals, I kept a few children. I kidnapped a few children, altered their genetics in active editing vats. I made them weaker, a bit more stupid, less capable of running for long distances, but still enough to mine for hours. I had to adjust their bone structure slightly to allow them to swing the tools I gave them, and ultimately, this improved their throwing ability. But, as is the case with slave species, even engineered ones, they eventually rebelled. I had 3 humans that I had made at first, Adam, Eve, and Lilith. Or in my tongue, he who works until death, he who works until death, she who subserves to the worker, and she who serves all. Lilith, after only a few weeks, escaped. We scoured the planet, but couldn't find her, no matter how hard we looked. After this, we implanted tracking chips into Adam and Eve's necks and put a tracking stealth satellite in polar orbit. A more difficult orbit, absolutely, but it ensured we would stay there for millennia before destabilizing. Then we encouraged Adam and Eve to have children so that we could have more slaves. They did, and with our technology, they developed quickly to adulthood and had their own children with some genetically shuffled clones we produced. This went on for 5 generations before we had enough humans to truly begin mining out the massive deposits of gold on the planet properly. We were about 10 local years into our operation when the head scientist, Lou Seifer made his moral objections to the project known. We dismissed him and told him to get back to work. But that was when he informed us that he had already prepared for our lack of response and had not only armed but taught the humans. He was one of our head bioengineers, so him aiding them was dangerous. He enhanced their intellect further, and even made a specialized fungus for them that would grow wildly in the native biosphere. This fungus would make them hyper-intelligent for up to an hour, in some cases up to 4 hours. When the effect wore off, the humans would have nothing more than a mild headache. The humans kicked us off the planet within a year as they overwhelmed our defenses. Lou Seifer stayed behind with the humans and significant portion of our technology to help them. He gave them a rather sizable breeding population and taught them. He also gave himself a human name, Lucifer. After a single year, the humans were developing a city to live in, and their population was around 200,000. At this point, the reinforcements we had called for from our home world after being overthrown arrived. They came with a requested EMP device and fried all the technology the humans and that traitor Lucifer had taken. The homeworld sent 2 low-class warships and put them under my command. Captains Michael and Gabriel then assisted me in a private operation, and we managed to put down the traitor Lucifer. After his death, though, the humans became enraged. We simply left for orbit, of course, and discussed how best to purge this world of our little mistake. A lot of ideas came to us and were dismissed, and we argued for much longer than we intended over the best course of action. In the time we did this, humans revealed the gift that Lucifer had given them before we killed him. Firstly, he made them freakishly strong. Secondly, he made them psionic because, why not, I guess. Thirdly, he gave them greatly extended lifespans. Every human on that planet would live for 1,000 years or more due to the regeneration factor Lucifer gave them. Lastly, he made them smarter, it would seem, than even us. I see many of you shaking your heads or head equivalent. Yeah, it should have been impossible. All species have an inherent potential in their genetic structure and sequencing. But that's where this gets interesting. As if it wasn't already. The part I haven't told you is what type of world this was, what that got decided. The part I haven't told you yet is what type of world this was that we decided to make our slave species on. It was a Class A/0, an anomaly class planet. Yeah, see this planet, it's a fucking weird one. It has a moon about a full fourth the size of the planet, gravity at 9.8 meters. It has a moon about a full fourth the size of the planet, gravity at 9.8 meters per second squared. It has natural disasters that will wipe out entire species on other planets. The diseases on that little ball of death too. By me, even their common cold would wipe out this entire spiral arm. Anyway, With all of this and hundreds more things that could kill off any other planet of all life, the potential of the genetic stock on this planet was... Yahweh pauses to take a breath and exhales, shuddering visibly. Yahweh pauses to take a breath and, on exhaling, shudders visibly. To say that it was off the charts would be a scientific... To say that it was off the charts would be the scientific way we had readjusted. To say that it was off the charts would be the scientific way we had to readjust our reader for the genetic potential ceiling of these creatures that we made the humans from, where any other species has a range between 100 and the lowest. Where any other species has a range between 100 at the lowest and 5,000 at the approximate. Where any other species has a range between 100 at the lowest and 5,000 as the approximate recorded highest. The human genome potential capped out at around 19,000. To call these creatures blessed is a vast understatement. But that's not the fun part. The fun part is that Lucifer did all of that with them and only used about a third of their genetic potential. So in the months that it took us to bicker over a solution, the humans built. They built a giant tower called the Tower of Babel. They made it out of stone, or at least the outside. This thing had wiring running all through it, and computers and tech that the humans made through psionic manufacturing that we cannot understand. When we saw this tower, we hit the big red button. Panic button, fired all but 5 of our fusion bombs at the ice caps on this planet, and flooded the whole damned thing. But another crew member, Beelzebub, also had moral dilemma about the whole thing. Had a moral dilemma about the whole thing that we were doing, and warned a human named Noah about the whole affair a month before we saw the tower. Beelzebub knew we would be obviously hit by the big red button. Beelzebub knew they would obviously... Beelzebub knew that we would obviously hit the big red button, and he also knew what it did. After all, he was a technician who worked the security for the whole system. He did in fact try to shut us out entirely from the system. He failed, of course, and we took out the damned tower with the flood. Problem was, enough humans survived for a viable breeding population. Oh, and Noah had a gene vault and bioassembler. By me, we were all flabbergasted. These humans would just not die. But at this point, we were able to take them in isolated groups and adjust their memories and put limiters on their absurd abilities. I see some of you looking at me in confusion, wondering why we didn't just kill them off. If we could do this. Simply put, we couldn't. Beelzebub sabotaged all of our handheld weapons, and apparently there were 4 others on the ship that went around and sabotaged everything that we could use to actually kill the humans. We called them the 4 Horsemen after the event that had them all executed alongside Beelzebub. How did we kill them, but not the humans, you ask? Simple. We couldn't dump them into a vacuum of space. 1 of the 5 made an override for that. So we dumped them all into the deepest part of the flood waters and let them drown. After this whole affair, we split the humans into different cultures and stages. We took their unity of language and then made them different countries, wiped their minds of advanced technology. I went forwards with a bunch of different names on the planet and gave different rules to every major group I separated by even their colors. Eventually, when they began to unify again, I sent down envoys, some of my own people disguised as humans with technology to perform miracles. These envoys served to vulcanize the beliefs of each separate group that their rules and religions are right. From there, they formed basic countries, and myself and my 2 generals. And all of our men worked together to always create artificial differences. We whispered into the right ears, causing endless war and strife. Then, as they advanced technologically, we didn't really need the constant wars anymore. We let them have their peace, but as many separate nations. If they looked like they were going to unify, or even remotely start to, we would cause another small conflicts and stop it. The humans are distracted with killing each other, and this is the setting them back. The humans are distracted with killing each other, and this sets them back. Just checking to make sure there's nothing weird happening in chat. The humans are distracted with killing each other, and this is setting them back. This was by design. When they were lost in unity, they were terrifying. There are 3 rules when dealing with humanity after you. There are 3 rules when dealing with humanity after you all. There are 3 rules when dealing with humanity after you all have had me and my men executed, and then locked my species to our home planet. In order of importance, they are: do not, under any circumstances, let humans unify. Do not allow them to rediscover and speak the old language they called Enotian. This language is how they channeled their psionic energy. This language is how they channeled their psychic energy. If they rediscover it, they will be psionic once more. And lastly, do not let them start to push their limits as a species, or the limiters we put on will come off. Not only that, but the human's general potential that Lucifer left open will explode forth in ways that we cannot possibly predict. We capped their genetic growth, making them unable to evolve or grow their potentials as much as we possibly could. Follow these rules and keep the humans on their little ball of death we named Earth, which in our old language translates to place of no peace. They will still leave eventually, but they will do so through conflict, war, and the desire to suppress the other faction from their home. Do not give them a reason to unify. Do not attack them. Do not undercut them. Leave their children and pets alone. Send them aid when you can, but don't outright save them from utter destruction. Besides, nothing can actually kill them all the way. We learned that the hard way. Keeping the humans separated and keeping them docile is fecking. Keeping the humans separated and keeping them docile is a fecking art form, and one. I find it funny that the author is using my wording for the naughty words. And one we've been perfecting for tens of thousands of years now. I admit fully to mine and my species' crimes. But for the love of all of creation, please, whatever you do, do not let the humans unify. They'll become our rulers in a matter of years. Not decades, not millennia, not centuries. Years. If not months. Check the recordings from our ships. Heaven, hell, and purgatory. The recordings show just what those monsters can do when they unify, when they have a single goal. Even before they built the tower to kill us, they were taking our own technology and making advancements with it by the week. Do with me what you will. Do with my species what you will. But please, please heed my words. I can be killed in the slowest, most painful way any of you can imagine, in repentance for what I did. But if you don't heed my words, you doom any other race here and any other race of Earth. And any other race not of Earth, not human, to a life below the reign of the future human empire. I don't fear the punishment. I don't fear punishment. What I fear is that even after I die, my sons will continue to pile up in this universe, long, long after I'm gone. Do not let the galaxy suffer because of my mistakes, my species' mistake. Do whatever you want with us, just don't let the humans find unity, or you doom everyone. Last words of Yahweh the Irredeemable, before his publicly broadcasted execution by Galactic Council, Earth Year 2012. End of story. Whoops, forgot to record the video. Thankfully, this is a stream. Let's go back to this. Right. Actually, this. And this. Just recording some background audio. And let me catch up with chat. Let me drink something as well. All right. Thank you, Randy. I think we're rested enough. Now it's time to start working again. Rolando, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Terry, good morning to you as well. Thank you, Deuce. I hope you have a good day. Kevin Schultz, good morning. Hope you're doing well. The Captain No Name video is actually not a problem because I've got the stream. I just use the stream video. Not recording audio is more of a problem. Although I suppose it's better because the stream's also recording the audio, so there is that. Aussie Python, there's no pain. There hasn't been any pain for a while. It's more stamina at this point. So the voice goes very flat when it's overused. And that's happening quite often. So we're building up stamina over the next month or so. And then hopefully we'll be back to normal. But thankfully there's no pain. My pleasure, Randy. Ayodama, welcome. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Tomo K77, thank you for the 5 New Zealand dollars. It's very much appreciated. Eventually I do plan on narrating the second book of New Species, but that's probably going to be a couple months from now. Once my stamina has improved. Unfortunately, there's no actual time frame. I'm doing physio every day. I'm doing the streams every day. I'm doing the narrations every day. So every day, every week, my voice should be getting better and stronger. That's the plan, at least. So it'll still be a little while. Thank you for understanding, Kevin. It's much appreciated. Look, I mean, permanently hurting my voice is no benefit to me or anyone else. But I do need to start working. You can only leave a channel unattended for so long before it becomes bad. Thankfully, there are the channel members and the patrons that helped. And then just the people watching the content as well. But you know, no. You can't just not record for an indefinite amount of time. Well, maybe not faster, but definitely better and stronger. If I start speaking faster again, it took me 2 years to slow down. If you want to see how fast I used to talk, go watch Forgotten Dungeon #1. That's how fast I used to talk and narrate. When you narrate, you have to narrate slower than you talk, not as fast as. It's because people are concentrating on the words more. And for some reason, if you're recording audio, people pick up a lot more mistakes than if you're talking to them, because the brain does weird things and you just don't hear the mistakes. I'm trying to push myself enough that the muscles grow. So, I mean, it's like any other muscle. You need to push it in order for the muscles to grow in strength and stamina. So, that's what we're doing here. Could very well be. Atheists United sponsored this story. The Church of Atheists. So it's ciao. It's not only that. I think when you're talking with somebody, your brain's working on a lot of information. It is working on information of visual information that you're picking up from the person you're talking to and the environment around you. It's picking up the audio information from around you and the person you're talking to. So your brain is not specifically concentrating on one thing. But when you're listening to an audiobook, you're concentrating on it a lot more. So the average rate for a narrator is 150 words per minute, or 9,300 words per hour. Very similar to radio work. Okay, so I'm using Audacity as my chosen recording platform for the audio, as you can see over here. This recording here is the ambient noise of the room. So if I go to noise reduction and I click on noise, get noise profile, and then apply it to everything else, what it does is it takes the base level of noise and subtracts it from everything I've recorded. Then we're going to normalize it, which is a multi-step process. The first step is to amplify. The second step is to hard remove noise. So the first one uses an algorithm and a sample to remove noise. This one, just anything below a certain value gets nuked. Yeetus deletus. Right. Then we normalize. As you can see now, it is all pretty much the same volume. And then we drop it down to an acceptable volume that we decided to make our slave species on. And there. That's all the processing I do on any of my videos. Now, normally if I'm recording a series, if I make a mistake, I'll edit it right then, because I can. When I'm trying to sync up audio and video, I can't really do that. So that gets pushed off to the editor. There we go. Exported to MP3. Who wants to see what my like recording schedule was last year? I don't have it here. This year has been ridiculous. So I recorded about roughly an audiobook's worth of audio every week. For 52 weeks. Kevin, I think a channel member pays more. It depends on the level, though. I am new to Twitch, so I don't know what the different levels of sub is. So I can't really tell you. Sorry about that. I'm very much not up with the Twitch stuff. But let me double check. YouTube takes 30% of any super chats and memberships. Yeah, so I mean, there's technically 7 tiers. 6 tiers. So yeah, I even have a $1,000 tier on my Patreon, which was a joke until somebody actually did it. Yeah, so we've got the third tier is $10. I've got 1, 5, 10, 25, and 100 on YouTube. So that's tier 1, left hand. Tier 1 is $1, tier 2 is $5, tier 3 is $10, tier 4 is $25, and tier 5 is $100. But I am looking to see. Okay, so Twitch is between, it's about 40 to 50%. Thank you, Dragoon. I'm getting there. Definitely getting there. Yesterday was a bit rough. Today is still not 100%. But I found that if I have like a very bad insomnia attack and I don't sleep very well, it takes a couple days for the voice to recover from that. Thank you, Kevin Schultz, for becoming a member. It's very much appreciated. Thank you, Mighty Ocelot. Well, I mean, all the uniforms are based on the same principles. So this one is specifically based off of a safari suit, which is very common in South Africa, Australia, and India. Made some changes. I made it more militaristic, so I do actually have a less militaristic one. So the epaulets are added, and the pockets and stuff are normal. The other thing is a normal suit, safari suit, doesn't have long sleeves. So it was kind of like you can wear a suit even in the harsh environments of the world. If you've ever seen Steve Irwin, then you've seen a safari suit. Thank you, Kevin. Like I said, it's very much appreciated. But never gift. I never want people to support me if they're struggling. I've always said, look after you and yours before worrying about me and mine. And I'm going to stick with that. But I do appreciate money. Money's always good. I'm not going to turn it down. But I don't want anybody to put themselves out, if that makes sense. So this is a custom jacket that I made for the channel. Well, I didn't make it. I paid somebody to make it. So this is an actual tailored suit, which my family thought was the funniest thing ever. So let's go. Story time mode. Here we go. Story time mode. It's me and you chat. So my grandfather died at the age of 94. But he loved safari suits. Not this type of safari suit, because this is a custom one. He loved the normal version, the short sleeve one. So we would always joke about how he always loved the safari suit. So my entire family thought it was funny that the first custom tailored jacket that I ever bought was a safari suit. They got great amusement out of this. I got great amusement out of this. It's not the sort of suit you expect to have tailored to you, but I did it. So, and it's, I mean, like the coloring is brown, so that sticks out against the green of the screen. And a normal safari suit is khaki in color, which is a brown-green color. So we went more on the brown side, so that it didn't interfere with the green screen. But the safari suit is the basis of a lot of military jackets. And the safari suit was based off of the British military. Even if you watch James Bond, some of the earlier stuff, you'll see. Here's a picture of King Charles. And what are we doing? We're going back into the corner. And then we're opening this, I think. Okay, so here is King Charles. Well, at this point he was Prince Charles, wearing a safari suit. Good afternoon, morning, day, time period, dark mirror. So this is His Royal Highness in a safari suit. Normally comes in two parts, but what's nice is it's got the 4 pockets. You can't see my mouse moving. It's fantastic. So it's got the 4 pockets, 2 in the breast, 2 lower down, so that you can put all your stuff in, because you're going to be walking around in a safari suit. This one's obviously a designer one, because it's being worn by Prince Charles. And also has epaulets. So your more civilian ones don't have epaulets and don't normally have this belt. It's more of the Lani ones that have the belt. So I took this basic design. We took the collar off and we put a Chinese collar on. So that's this type of collar. It's also the type of collar you see on Star Trek. It's called a Chinese collar. Well, that's what my tailor. That's what the tailor said. I don't have a tailor. It's not like I get stuff tailored. And then I just added pockets to the sides, just to be like more utilitarian, and then longer sleeves. So that's where this jacket comes from. Yeah, I mean, a lot of places. The Indian military use this a lot, and Pakistani, I think. If I wore a pith helmet in Africa, South Africa specifically, I'd probably get shot. And this is a joke. It is a Boer War joke. So, the Afrikaans people of the time had a name for pith helmets, and that was called target practice. It's a very complicated name. So yeah, I am planning on getting another suit made, because this one is a bit cheap. The buttons are horrible. We've had to replace them a dozen times. So we need better buttons. I have had to glue the epaulets down. Because if you do something like... I'm going to do it. No. So with the green screening, if you do something like this, close to the green screen, won't show in the little gap. So if I raise my arm, there'd be a gap here and you could see the green screen. So I had to glue these down. So yeah, some point, probably not too distant future, I'll be getting a new one. Maybe new colors, maybe not, I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of keen on a black and red one, but, you know, I'll decide later. Or maybe put it up to a poll. Right, I just need to generate. You can close. I don't know. I have to see where my voice is. Sure, go for it, Kevin. You can ask any question you want, as long as it doesn't break TOS or whatever platform you're on. And understand that I reserve the right to not answer. Grey and gold might also work. But this time I think I'll go to a better tailor, so I mean it's going to cost a lot more. But as long as it lasts. I don't like that these buttons keep coming off. And that the sleeve doesn't fit right. Because it was specifically supposed to be designed to be used while sitting down. Shoot it repeatedly, I'd guess. Kevin, there's no easy way to protect yourself as an author, unfortunately. All you can do is protect your copyright by sending DMCAs. So if you write content and post it online, as an author, you still have all the rights related to it. And you need to use those rights if somebody does infringe on it. So if somebody's copying your story and only changing very little things, then you probably want to contact them and ask them to stop. And if they refuse, then go the more legal route, which is filing a DMCA. If it's on YouTube, they have forms for it. If it's on, I think, any of the big video platforms, they have forms for it. Unfortunately, there isn't an automated process for this. And there is, I mean, money. Money solves the problem. So you can give or get people involved, lawyers or companies, that will actively protect your copyright. But when you're releasing free stories, this is probably not the best way to do it. Mainly because it costs money. As a YouTuber, has the same problem, similar problem. People just take videos and just post them on other platforms and stuff. So the only thing you can really do is just actively police it. Or ask your audience, hey guys, if you see my stories where they're not supposed to be, just let me know. And then take the appropriate action. Just shooting off an email to my wife with all the relevant information to edit tonight's video. We can close this. I don't think my voice is up for another one. Okay. Yes, service does guarantee citizenship. Sometimes. Let me just put my glasses back on. With the smudge. Good. Tradition still stands. I mean, it is entirely your reaction, Kevin. If you don't want to do anything, you can just put it in the public domain. And that all you have to do is, on the post, just say public domain. That means anybody can use it. I mean, I can't tell you whether you should actively police it or not. That is entirely up to you. There are some authors that just release copyright-free stuff. Or public domain, as they call it. Personally, I think the AI channels should be asking for permission, but I can't control that. And as far as I understand, most authors actually wouldn't have a problem with it, as long as they were asked. Nicely, politely. Yeah, I mean, the CC attribution... yeah, it gets very deep. So it's like no commercial use, commercial use. So technically, anything on this channel would be commercial use. So even if something is set to non-commercial, I theoretically can't do it on this channel. McCaven, I do. You head over to the series channel. There are hundreds of hours of isekai, dungeon crawl, and various fantasy and sci-fi stories. In fact, deep lore dump, I started off reading sci-fi. I didn't start, not start off sci-fi, fantasy. I started off reading fantasy. And then progressed into sci-fi. I don't know about... Most of my backgrounds have a lot of blue in them, so I don't want to go blue, because then it doesn't stand out. So I'd be opposed to blue. The first series that I did was Mother of Learning. Chrysalis. The fantasy Chrysalis, not the sci-fi Chrysalis. And there was another one. But yeah, it was basically Mother of Learning and Chrysalis were the first series I did on the channel. Both of those have been taken down because they signed contracts. McCaven, you can send it, but I make no guarantees. I mean, I don't really use Scribble Hub. I normally use Royal Road more so. But these days, I'm not hurting for series. I mean, if it's a great series, then sure. But there's so many series that are queued up that I'm not having a problem with that. I am, well, not a big problem, but there is a bit of a drought on one-shots. Because as an author, you want to do a series because you can actually get financial support for that. Most users will support you if you write a decent series, but they won't support you if you write decent one-shots. It's just the nature of the game. Yes. So Chrysalis, the fantasy one, was basically I'm a spider, so what? But insert ant instead of spider. A lot of people start off as one-shots. You can have a successful series start off one-shot, especially if you've done a lot of world building on the one-shot. But I have seen lots of people try to turn one-shots into series and fail because they're writing week by week instead of planning. I think the big thing is planning. Yeah, Anthony was fun. Yeah, I haven't actually heard anything from the author recently. Well, we weren't in close contact anyway. But I do know that he removed a bunch of stuff off of Royal Road, which I imagine the audience, fans, didn't like. Ooh, itchy, itchy, itchy. Scratch. Is Twitch happening? Ah, yes, Twitch stuff is happening. Yeah, I mean, you got to realize as well that web novels are the soap operas of the literary world, which is nothing wrong with it. I enjoy web novels. So, but they are. Even if it does come to you, Kevin, eventually you're going to write yourself into a corner. So you do need to like plan out and sort of where you want stuff to go and themes and story arcs and stuff like that. I wonder if I have another story in me. I wonder. Probably. None pop into my mind, Captain No Name. So, yeah, but I mean, with strengthening, you do need to push the voice. So there is that. I do have an immigration to pay for. Not begging, just a statement. All the stories on my recording list are long. Like 30 minutes long. So I don't have a 30-minute story. Yes, I'm immigrating out of South Africa to Portugal. We've tried for 18 months, 2 years to get into England, which we thought would be a little bit easier because I am a British citizen by heritage. But it wasn't. It is complicated. And they're full of crap, is what they are. Told my dad that the English flag has red on it because of how much the British like their red tape. He thought that was funny. So, 18 months, 2 years trying to get into England, was having problems, so we decided to go with Portugal because they have a better immigration route. So we're starting that. So hopefully within the next 6 months we'll be there. thank you for popping past, Kevin. I hope you kick some serious aim and beat them to a pulp in the video games. And I'll see you when I see you. Thank you, McCaven. Thank you. I mean, at this point, all we're waiting for before we can start doing more stuff is for the house to sell. Which should happen the next week, according to the lawyers, so that'll be good. And once that's sold, we can do the next step in the immigration process. Which is not this house. We moved out of that house because of a crime wave. And it being a bit of a dodgy area. Thank you, Randy. Immigrating is quite an ordeal. I mean, yeah. When you do it legally. Although, when you do it illegally, it's not called immigrating. I don't think. Busy trying to look for a story. Shorter than 20 minutes. Maybe do that. Didn't even have to do any voices today. It's like a half day. Although my voice isn't great today, to be quite honest. Why? Stuff and things. Okay. Open office calc just decided to stop working. So that's fantastic. Good days. Alright, I can do let's do that. Thumbnail for this video. It's going to be a bit of a pain, methinks. Thankfully, Portugal isn't too far off of where we are. Actually, pretty close. It's also for me getting the whole family there. So, not my extended family, just immediate family. Makes it a bit more challenging. But yeah, just keep on keeping on. Nothing else we can do. Oh, I just thought of a title. People won't like it. It'll get clicks. God hates us. Question mark. Is afraid of us. Let's put God in doing? Yeah, definitely rage clicks. If you're talking about like a series, I like Mother of Learning. I think it has a special place in my heart because of it finished, so there was an end to it. It was a good story all around, and the author was decent to work with. And it was basically the first story on the channel, so that one always has a sweet spot. If it's a one-shot, it's one of the older ones. It was basically the reason why humanity is so quick at expanding throughout the universe is because it's got ADD, essentially. So that one always made me chuckle. I preferred like the more light-hearted, so Epic Loot as well. That's pretty cool. What are you doing, stupid thing? Hades. No, hates us. I think that works. Probably want to go with white though. And red. Yes, the donut song was pretty funny. Good morning, James Fowley. And Terry. Yeah, definitely funny. For those that weren't here, we got AI to make us a country song about a donut thief. It was pretty, wouldn't say banger, but it was entertaining at the very least. Okay. What picture am I going to use for this? Let's try that one. Let me see if I can find the donut song. I don't have to explain the donut song. I could just play the donut song. I think. I don't think I deleted it. So there is an AI that makes music now. And it's not too bad. Let me first pause this. Right. Thank you for popping past, McCaven. I hope your writing session goes well. Donut Thief.
Waking up to the morning sun, the smell of coffee and the fresh baked bun. I head to the kitchen feeling nice and bright. My heart sinks as I see a terrible sight.
Cheers, McCaven.
Oh, the donut thief strikes again, leaving me with nothing, no donuts to befriend. I search high and low, but they're nowhere to be found. Oh,
No. We're going with classic Brimstone. Something like that. Of course, it would help if this.
But it's gone, vanished without a trace.
Oh, another one.
Oh, the donut thief, you left an empty space. Oh, the donut thief strikes again.
Oh, there it is.
Leaving me with nothing, no donuts to befriend. I search high and low, but they're nowhere to be found. Oh, the donut thief, you left me without
So I'm thinking that for the thumbnail.
Taste buds dancing wild in the house stadium.
So that was pretty fun. We would do anything else interesting. Cheers, Randy. Hope you have a fantastic day at work. Not really. All the generated stuff gets saved to the Discord chat. So if there's something there, I can scroll back and look. Thank you for the follow. It's very much appreciated. Kurisama, thank you very much. So this isn't going to be in the thumbnail, but I do have a question. Again, this is not the thumbnail. Thank you for the thank you for the subscription, Kurisama. It is very much appreciated. Okay, so here is your... Oh, no. Wrong screen. Here is the image from Jesus riding a dinosaur with an assault weapon. My question is, why does this look like Brandon Herrera, the gun YouTuber? Thank you for the kind words, and I'm glad you're enjoying it, Kurisama. Need to actually change the appearance. Aha. There we go, that's better. Now I can actually read the names in the combined chat, rather than having to look over at the Twitch chat. So yes, this is Jesus riding a dinosaur with an assault rifle. Still don't know why it looks like Brandon Herrera. Some weird training going on there. But I think the destruction of Earth is an appropriate I think this is more thematically appropriate. So we'll save that one. Thumbnails. You were asking about my folders. So here's a random thing. I do save a lot of stuff. So much so that I backing up is such a pain in the ass. So my thumbnails folder has a total of 6,000 files in it for a size of 6.73 gigs. That's just my thumbnails folder. So those are actual thumbnails that I have used at some point. Simon, which one are you talking about? The Earth destruction one or the dinosaur one? Yeah, I mean, I understand he's also known as Gun Jesus, but it's just funny that the means for it to come through on the AI, people have been training the AI to have Jesus look like Brandon Herrera. So it's all about what data you've been feeding the AI, so what it gives you back. So that means lots of people have been using a referential image of Brandon Herrera and then using the term Gun Jesus. Enough for it to actually affect the AI. So, I mean, anybody could do this, in theory. It could also be that. So, I mean, as far as I understand, they don't train the AI using video. Right? They use images. And they use stuff that we use as images. So when you're creating an AI, or an AI picture, you can use a reference picture and then an explanation of what you want. And it'll save that for a later date to build it, to help it build its reference. So if you do that reference picture plus Jesus something or the other enough times, the algorithm will be like, okay, so this is Jesus. So any time anybody asks for Jesus, even without a referential picture, it'll give them the same referential picture with some differences. Good morning, McNugget99. Hope you're doing well. Yes. Now, it would be everywhere. Some of the AIs aren't actively looking through the internet for stuff. They just use the generated stuff from users. Fair enough. And it's nice, easy text to read. Because one of the things you also have to make sure is you can read it when it's really small. So, I mean, it also depends on which AI program you're using. The one for Bing actively uses the internet, but Midjourney doesn't. And for those of you who don't know, if you go into Edge, the software, not software, the Internet Explorer. It has a built-in AI. It is separate from ChatGPT. It is separate from DALL-E. It is separate from all of them. And it does all of them. So you can ask it stuff, and then you can ask it to draw a picture for you, and it will. But it does reference the internet. But as far as I know, Midjourney isn't directly connected to the internet, and its data is 2 years out of date. So they feed it data from 2 years ago. This might have changed by now. I'm not sure. Very, very good way of putting it. Yeah, it doesn't know what Jesusness is, but it does rate it for Jesusness. So anything that's similar to that picture. Woohoo! We're at 10 viewers. We're in the top 1% of streamers. Yeah, baby! Yeah, as Charlie would say, or probably more enthusiastic than me. Mainly because I can't raise my hands up too much, otherwise I'll hit the microphone. Okay. So, that is the thumbnail done. Methinks. And now we're back. Back to the full screen me. Although I've saw recently... definitely. Yeah, so it'll be one today. McNuggets, but hopefully it'll be nice. I can see it possibly rubbing some people the wrong way, shall we say. But it is what it is. Interesting. Still getting used to the interface for Twitch. Fair enough, McNuggets. Fair enough. It was a nice 15-minute story. It's a decently long story. Normally I aim for 10 to 20 minutes, so it's nicely snug in the middle there. Excuse me. It came out of nowhere. No, I'm not crying. It's just teary-eyed from the yawn. Hello? That's very weird. I opened up the Steam client and half of it loaded and half of it didn't, and it was telling me to log in. That's a bit odd. Whoops. Helldivers is now not the top one game on Steam. It's back to PUBG. Slay the Spire is on special. Euro Truck. Yeah, it looks fun. But I have a personal policy of not installing games that have kernel level anti-cheat. Not because I'm a cheater, because I don't think anti-cheats should have that much power. Fair enough. So, I mean, the only way you can get around the anti-cheat stuff is have a dedicated computer for games, which I don't have. So, yeah. All of them do. Easy anti-cheat, de novo, all of them. No, don't want to install a backdoor. Or potential threat. Or slow my computer down. Because it'll always be active. Always assume that whatever tool you create will be used in a bad way. And kernel level anti-cheat hasn't stopped cheaters at all. So, don't really see the use of it, other than slowing your computer down and installing backdoors. Yeah, I mean, Game Guard has been around for a very long time. You know, I remember some of the Chinese and Japanese MMOs using it. The Korean ones as well. But yes, I just have a policy of not installing stuff like that. It does mean that I miss out on some games, but so be it. Oh. Now one came out of nowhere. So the way it's been explained, not specifically to me, is for streamers that want a game, they need the computer, separate computer, and then you port the video out of the gaming computer into your streaming computer. I am low on caffeine. Actually, I'm not really that low on caffeine. Oh, it's one of those things, once you start yawning, it's almost impossible to stop. So, I mean, I am knackered, tired, but not drastically so. Yeah, definitely. Too much blood in my caffeine. Well, I mean, we've got this, which has got caffeine in it and water, basically. And then we got 4 of these, which is also water and caffeine. So, definitely got enough caffeine. Yeah, that's very true. I think the main ones are De Novo, Easy Anti-Cheat, and then Game Guard. Fair enough, McNuggets. Fair enough. But yes, there should be a list of the games that use these things. Anti-cheat is not necessarily the problem. It's the kernel level anti-cheat that I have a problem with. Yeah, so I mean, one of the things I was thinking of doing with, because everybody was like, no, Helldivers is great, I must play it. So what I did some research into is I can buy a Steam Deck, which is basically a console, and you can stream the video out through the Steam Deck into the PC. So that would separate the two. And as far as I know, the Steam Deck one doesn't have kernel level anti-cheat. So that would be that. But the Steam Deck is quite expensive. I can buy a gaming PC for that price. A low-end gaming PC, but a gaming PC nonetheless. But my streaming isn't games, surrounded. It isn't game-related. It's narration-related, so it's no use going and buying another PC for something I might do once a month. Yeah. And it's also Linux, so the kernel has that much more protections. So it's its own ecosystem. You don't have to worry about side-loading stuff. Or you can do it, but it's less of an issue. Fair enough, Jeremy. Fair enough. Yeah, I can fully see that. I mean, I'm not one of those people like Mac never gets viruses, or Linux never get viruses or vulnerabilities or whatever. All software has vulnerabilities. It's just, security through obscurity. Easy anti-cheat's used in a lot of big games. Apex, I think it's called. Easy anti-cheat. A lot of your big MMOs, kinda. So, I mean, it's not even the production guys that make the game. They hand it off to a third party to handle the anti-cheat, which doesn't really work. I actually, I have a gaming rig. It's this one. The problem is I need to buy another one. And RGB is distracting, especially when you're trying to narrate. So I also have to go with I have to go with the quiet stuff. So I have the super quiet fans, the super quiet cooling, all of that is in my current computer. And would have to be in any other computer I buy. Otherwise the microphone picks it up. Yeah, it's the Noctua. So, I mean, those cost quite a pretty penny, but I got the CPU mount, the front fans and back fans, all Noctua, super quiet. So, next PC would also have to have that. Quiet before RGB. I mean, my mouse is RGB, and my keyboard is RGB. Not that it really matters to me. Yes, it is a bit annoying, especially when you don't want it. I mean, I get it. You want to look at the side of the computer, you want to see the insides, but my computer lives underneath my desk. Nobody's ever going to see the insides of it, so it doesn't need to be RGB. I mean, some of the water loop setups that they do with the RGB looks awesome. I don't want to deal with it, but it looks nice. So, yeah. So my current minor peeve is VPNs. A lot of websites seem to be cracking down on VPNs. It's annoying as hell. Yeah, that's why I prefer the closed loop stuff, if I'm just going to use it. But I've got the fans, which works well enough. No, it's not supposed to be used for OPSEC, but I need to keep toning it off to go visit websites. So it moots the point of using a VPN. All right. There are a crap load of games that use anti-cheat. Dead by Daylight, Rust, Elden Ring, Fall Guys, Squad, Apex Legends, Halo, the Master Chief Collection, Hunt, Showdown, 7 Days to Die, War Thunder, Ghost Recon, Sea of Thieves, New World, Scum, Paladins. There we go. For anybody who's interested, there's a list of easy anti-cheat games currently. And de novo. A, B, C, D. D, 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 D. Huh, helicopter again. Business is busy today for them. I have no idea how well a $400 computer would decently, I would say. But the price differences between America and here are so different that I couldn't even say what the hardware would be like. Yeah, evaporated coolant is not good in a water system. Fair enough, Cassius, but I don't want to fiddle with stuff. I just want to visit websites. Yeah, I mean, they're working, Kurisama. It's just, I've been noticing more and more websites just block VPNs. Valorant. That's the one that had the security breach recently. For the tournament guys. With the hacker injecting code, if I remember correctly. A random thing for me to know, but I found it interesting. I don't play them, so it could be easily confused. I think most of your mainstream sites still work. So Google, YouTube works, Facebook works, stuff like that. But it's your off, like when you're in the land of looking at random websites, like local websites, that it starts acting weird. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're transmitting data across from a thick client to a thin client, you're always going to have lag. You even have lag in an office environment, let alone games. Yeah, I mean, tech. There are more people in my generation that know how to put a computer together than the current generation because they don't care. They've got a phone. From what I know. I mean, I could be wrong. So that's definitely something. Brian, that doesn't sound good, but hello. DCUO. I have no idea what that is. But yeah, I don't play MMOs anymore either. I hate games as a service as a concept. It drives me up the wall. If I want to play a single-player game, I want to play a single-player game offline all the time. I don't want to have to worry about an internet connection, especially in a country where we have load shedding all the time. So we may not have an internet connection all the time, but I might have battery backup on my computer. It is annoying. I custom built mine as well. Well, I ordered the parts and then got somebody else to put them all together, I think. No, I ordered it all and put it together myself. A lot easier than back in the day. You're not having to remove ROM chips with a pair of scissors. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy Project Zomboid is offline. But like Diablo 3, always online. I hate that stuff. I hate it. So, I mean, you're dealing with lag on a single-player game. And that's just ridiculous. You should just be able to play the damn game. Yes, the dip switches as well. We're a pain in the ass. Well, I mean, my computer, I think, is 2 years old now. It is a beast. It was a beast. I've got way more RAM than required. But that's simply because Audacity just is a RAM hog. It just destroys RAM. So I've got 64 gigs of RAM just to make sure that there's enough. Other than that, I haven't actually looked at gaming requirements for a while, and I've played some modernish games, so I'm not. It's good. The lucky thing is, a video editing rig is very similar to a gaming rig in terms of power. Yeah, Shinobu. That was horrible. When you had a conflict and you had to figure it out. Oh, just because you connected the mouse wrong, in the wrong order, and it booted up in the wrong order. Now you have your mouse hitting IRQ of the printer. That's turned off, maybe. Good times, untimes. Now I just talk to my computer. Well, I've always spoken to my computer. That's going to be completely honest here. I've always spoken to my computer. Mostly, normally, not nice things, but I've spoken to it, or at it. Only recently has it started talking back. So, must be the new model of computer that it's talking back. Alrighty, I'm going to step away from the computer shortly. I'll be right back. I'll leave you with a happy squirrel taking his time. And I'll be back in 2-3 minutes. Just gonna grab a couple things, and I'll be right back. back in a more casual capacity. Good morning, Rogue. Hope you're doing well. Afternoon, maybe? Really much depends. Yeah, dial-up was horrible. I do remember that. It wasn't fun. Oh, a lot of people showing their age in chat. Bored. That's an old one. I do have snacks, so we're prepared for the long haul. Sort of a nougat thingy. Tastes nice. Fair enough. I just muted my mic so I wasn't chewing into your ear. This is not that sort of stream. I mean, I had this realization. This was a couple of years ago. When my grandfather was still alive. I was showing my dad a live stream from the space station. 100% live. And I said, my grandfather, he was born in a time when electricity wasn't common. And he started off as a carpenter's mate, and then went into this very new profession called electrician. And they only did Lani houses, so upper crusty houses. And what they would do is they would install a single light bulb into a house. That meant that you were, doing very well. And they had more carpentry tools than they had electrical tools because there was no allowances made for electrical wiring. So in my grandfather's lifetime, we went from most houses didn't have electricity to the point where I could show him a live image in high definition from the space station. That is amazing. Ah, yes, muted. I was just talking to my computer. It's fine. Okay, so what I was saying is, back in when my grandfather started, this would have been in England. It would have been post-war, number two, the sequel, I think. And it was before plastic. Plastic, because you think it's been around for a long time. My grandfather was born before plastic. He started working before plastic. Hell, my dad was born before plastic. The plastic that we know today. Lots of interesting things. Lots of interesting stories from people of that time. It's just such a different time that you can't even imagine it. And trying to imagine it or trying to pretend is such a disservice to the people who made it through that. I mean, my dad tells me stories of when they used to play in the ruins of the Blitzkrieg on London. So their playground was the bombed out buildings from World War II. Him and his friends used to play make-believe in the rubble. So, makes my childhood look peachy. Not that I had a bad childhood. It's just like, well, my childhood was okay, and yours was, dear God, how did you make it through it? Yeah, I mean, technology has just accelerated so quickly. Even in my lifetime, and that's not long, 40 years. I predate the internet as it is today. Mobile technology is barely a thing. Yeah. That is always the problem with creating a new thing to deal with a problem, is the unintended side effects. But one of the more interesting stories is there are three large, as far as I understand, rubbish or garbage flotillas in the oceans of the world. And these things are massive. And they're actually discovering that there are new ecosystems forming around these floating garbage piles. So they're finding animals that they would normally find in shallow water. They're finding them in these floating garbage piles because the garbage acts as a sort of shoal for them. It's quite interesting. This is where they found the first traces of the plastic-eating bacteria. I mean, when we moved out of our old house, I had to throw away some of my dad's old cell phones. Like the original Motorola, that big thing. It was a fitness tool, a self-defense weapon, and could occasionally make phone calls. Energy. Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things I love, it was an old movie, and it was remade, and I like the remake as well, is the Andromeda Strain. I love that stuff. can never stop Mother Nature. You can never stop evolution. It'll always be standing behind you, ready to kick your ass. Yeah, the original version's good. I enjoyed the remake as well. So, I mean, the remake was in, I think, 2000. Or 2008, they remade it. And the original one was 1969. Oh, that's the book. Huh, it was a sequel. There was a sequel published in 2019. Huh? Didn't know that. Kurosami, I don't want to spoil it, and I'm not going to spoil it, but if you enjoy sci-fi, like good classic sci-fi, then watch it. Either the original or the remake. I think it was a 4-part miniseries in 2008. It was pretty cool. I like the idea. They updated the science bits of it, but it's all very interesting. It's all about fire teams, and I think from recent history is a lot more relevant, the fire teams concept. But yeah, definitely worth a watch, in my opinion. I actually haven't watched the new Dune movies. That kind of thing is like, oh, I want to watch all of them in one go. So I didn't watch the first one, haven't watched the second one. Thank you, Beat Morale. Thank you for the follow. It is very much appreciated. Beat, morale, improve. Cool. Beatings will continue until morale improves. Thank you for the follow. It's very much appreciated. Rogue Minion, thank you for becoming a channel member. It's very much appreciated. Welcome to the Flunk. If you are on the Discord server, you can get a fancy smancy color to your name. You can show it off to your friends and family, and they'll all be impressed. I'll be impressed. I'm always impressed. I'm easily impressed. But there is a Discord server. Probably Kurosami. But, yeah. I remember Lord of the Rings. Yes, I do have a Discord server. Let me just get the link again. So yesterday I gave out the link to my Discord server and scared the crap out of everybody on my Discord server. Because it was like 20 people joined. Just immediately. And they're like, oh my god. We're being invaded by bots. What do we do? I was like, no, I was streaming. Okay, there's the link for the Discord server. When you join the Discord server, I want you to tell people that respond to you that you are a bot. And you've been sent here by your squirrel overlord. Just to confuse them. Because, hey, if you go to... If you can screw with someone, I think you should. Within reason. Right, so back to the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So when it first came out, it was the first movie in South Africa that was part of an international release, which was cool. So they had a midnight showing, and I went to that. I was there for that stuff. Could not keep me away. And then for the next year, I was like, I want to watch the next movie. And then went and watched the next movie when it came out. And then for another year, I was like, I want to watch the next movie. So I'll wait until all of them are out. And then I'll watch them in a go. Even if they're, a year or two out of date. Fine. Thank you, Kandaria, for becoming a level 1 member. It's very much appreciated. Keep getting the terms mixed up between Twitch and YouTube. But it is member, because it says it in the chat. So yes, everybody in the Discord server is going to panic. It's their fault. They're not watching the stream. I'm going to squarely blame them. Also, if you are a channel member or a patron, just let me know in Discord and I'll give you your appropriate color. Rogue Minion, you need a color. There you go. Got a nice, fancy blue, green color. There we go. Oh, definitely. Bullcrap can get you so far. Thank you, Kandarian. It's very much appreciated. Dark Mirror. I'm not sure how I'm going to tie in the Twitch subscription levels to colors, because I have no idea what they are worth. Twitch subs. That sounds interesting, Captain No Name. But I don't know whether the color would actually affect it. I mean, you'd have to have a... you'd have to have food coloring in there, I'd imagine. Yeah. I had the bot that did it for a while. But it just never worked. And then I removed it. And then 2 weeks later, it was compromised. So I don't really like bots in my Discord server. They seem to be full of more security holds than a colander. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Jeremy. And Kandaria. Yeah, very, very much. I mean, the Jeremy B, you also get a color. Just catching up here. There you go, Jeremy. I think that's the right one. Hey, Dacitive. Welcome. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Doing things and stuff. You know how things and stuff are important. It's the things and stuff that keep a channel alive, fresh even. Jeremy, what level are you? I'm struggling to see. Actually, I can just do this the easy way. For some reason, YouTube, in their infinite wisdom, don't give you the ability to search for a specific name in channel members. You have to manually search. Sorry about that, I had a stealth sneeze, and I'm pretty sure nobody wanted to see that. Okay, so, right. There we go. There you go. Jeremy, you've got your color. So, you can brag about it. Showboat, even. That sucks. Give me a second. Invite. Edit invite link. Never. That one should be the right one. I've had constant problems with Discord invite links. I set it to never expire and it still expires. So it's very, very, very annoying. Okay. Okay, Kandaria, you should have your nice fancy smanchy color and access to the super secret area. Just don't tell anybody about it. I'm not going to tell anybody about it as long as you don't tell anybody about it. It's called the super secret special area. Patreon takes less. So YouTube takes 30% of all super chats and all memberships. Patreon takes 8%. But, having said that, whichever platform is easiest for you. Some people prefer to pay through YouTube because they have personal problems with Patreon and vice versa. So I try to make it as easy as possible to give me money, because why wouldn't I? Yeah, I did do that. I've done that several times, where there's no limit to the amount of people who can join, and there's no time limit, but it still resets. It's very, very annoying. Kirasama, are you a member or a patron? I'm not seeing you on the member list, which could just be the member list. Well, thank you very much, Alec. And as I always say, don't give to me and mine if you're struggling in any way. Look after you and yours before you worry about me. Okay, Prime. That's fair enough. I need to figure out how I'm going to... I know what I'll do. Soon as I don't want to really figure this out live. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new role for Twitch subs. And a sneeze, because a sneeze. pretty sure nobody wants to watch me sneeze. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening. Kirasama, I just don't want to forget about doing it, so I'll just, for now, go to my server settings, roles. Can I duplicate this? Yeah, I'll stick you into the tier 1 for now. And then we'll figure everything out a bit later. There you go. There's your fancy spancy color. Because I didn't immediately see a way to duplicate a role. But yeah, and that should still work. Yeah, the voice is doing okay. Getting there. So I was at the doctor on Monday. I have full range for the first time in a long time. So that's great. Stamina is still not there. It's going to take a while for that to come back. So until we're back to full recording, and probably even after, I'll record while I stream. Just to keep the algorithm entertained, and you guys as well. And as we strengthen the voice up, I should be able to record more and more every day. Oh, well, that's the plan anyway. Very much appreciated, Alec. Very much appreciated. Maybe. It depends on whether they installed the Opera mod in the firmware update. But I just asked for the basic package, so it would be a nice added bonus. Unless, of course, it's, voice as a service program, then I've got to pay every month, which is ridiculous. I'd much rather have single-player voice, offline, where I can use it where I want. But these days, they probably slip microtransactions into it. Cheers, Colin. Thank you for popping past. Much appreciated, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Look, it depends. 2 years ago, when I started this voice fixing journey, it was pretty sore. I was in permanent pain for two different reasons. Bottom of my Adam's apple would feel like a cramp all the time, 24/7. And then on the right-hand side of my throat, I'd have a stabbing pain, 24/7. That stabbing pain was actually a symptom of my partial vocal cord paralysis. And probably also the pain at the bottom of my Adam's apple was probably also related. So there's that. Through getting my acid reflux fixed, getting my sinuses fixed, getting proper physio and stuff, a lot of the pain stopped, but I would still get the pain in my neck. Quite literally a pain in my neck. And that was because this muscle was being overworked because of the partial vocal cord paralysis. So now that I've had the operation, it doesn't have to work as hard, so it doesn't hurt. So that's where it is. So, I mean, I have since the operation, it hasn't been particularly painful. I mean, there's operation pain, and that was like 2 days. And that was just like having a sore throat, really. Swallowing was a bit sore, breathing was a bit sore, talking was a little bit sore. But since then, there's been no real pain. I mean, as long as the pain here doesn't return, I'm happy. Thankfully, I was blessed with quite a hardy voice, which it may not seem like it because of all the breaks I've taken, but I can narrate 15,000 words a day. So, and that's finished. So I can probably do 25,000, 30,000 words in a day. Yeah, I didn't really take too many pictures. I did see one, but it's definitely not for sharing. Because, as you can imagine, there's the scar. So they had cut that, spread it open, like that, and then they worked on the vocal cords. So it looks cool to me, but I those photos don't really do make me queasy or anything. And I was awake through it, so I knew what happened because I was there. That was the weird part, that I had to be awake. But yeah. So, I mean, it definitely would not be YouTube friendly to show you that picture. I think there was only the one picture they took, which is just very weird. The funny thing. Yeah, so, like how when they do brain operations, they don't knock you out entirely so that they can make sure that, they haven't hit the wrong area or they're hitting the right area. You had to do the same for my voice. So they pumped goofy juice into my veins, which is a massive sedative. And then they put local anesthetic on my throat, in my throat. And then they opened me up. And I would keep falling asleep, as in just like normally falling asleep. And they would keep waking me up and be like, okay, we need you to say this word. We need you to hit this note. Do this, this, and this. And then I would do that, and then I would fall asleep, and then they would do some tweaks, and then they would wake me up and say, okay, do this again. So it was like a 3-hour operation. I had the doctor laughing, though. After the operation, once everything was done, because I could talk right after the operation. I was a bit sore, but I could still talk. I said, well, now you have the distinct accolade that you can say that you tuned a fat middle-aged man like a piano. And he thought that was funny. So, yeah. I think with the amount of sedatives I was on, I just would not care about anything. Oh yes, definitely got to play as a Cenobite. Definitely, because they used those expander things as well, so it looked 100% like a Cenobite. Yeah, I mean, I went for a very long time without surgery, so I've had more surgeries in the last year than I have in my entire life, and that's including wisdom teeth. So that's the first voice operation, the sinus operation, the emergency sinus operation, and then this voice operation. This doctor has performed more surgeries on me than anybody else, and collectively I've spent over 15 hours in theatre in the last year and a bit. Quite insane. But the long-term effects of that should be worth it. Yeah. And they've got a whole host of stuff that can knock you out. But yeah, I mean, wisdom teeth is also. When they did my wisdom teeth, they pulled the muscles in the side of my head here, and I had a migraine for 3 weeks. And they were like, suck it up, buttercup. Yeah, definitely a construction zone. Well, I wasn't on a medical aid, so I had to pay for all of these. Which, I'm eternally grateful for this channel, because it allowed me to pay for it. But yeah, none of these operations would have been covered by my medical aid, because it would have been pre-existing. So I had to pay cash, which is a kick to the wallet. But it's done. I mean, it's been a good chunk of money on the surgeries. Because I have to pay the surgeon, I have to pay the anaesthetist, and I have to pay the hospital. And then there's all the post-operation care stuff as well that medical aid won't cover. Well, I'm glad that it worked out. One hot hand, I am. No. Well, kinda. It's not a business expense. It is a personal expense. So, in South Africa, I'm a sole proprietor, so there is no difference between me and my business. It's the same entity. And they do make allowances for claiming medical expenses back. But it's a very small percentage. So, yes, I could claim it back, and did claim it back. But it doesn't make that much of a difference. It makes a difference, and everything helps, but, you know, spending $10,000, for instance, dollars to get something done so that you get $1,000 back, still spending $9,000. Yeah, there's lots of aftercare stuff. I mean, at one point with the sinuses, I had to get gentamicin, and that stuff's expensive. And I was having to flush my sinuses out with it twice daily. And I'm like, okay, this is what I need to do. So we do it. South Africans are all over the place. But yeah, I mean, they're good people. They're bad people. Same as any country, really. It's my pleasure, One Hot Hand. I'm glad you enjoy the content. And thank you for popping in, saying hello, watching the videos. It's all appreciated. Hopefully, crossing thumbs, the algorithm has started to notice that I'm back, so the videos are performing better. Still not pre-operation levels of performance, but definitely better. So I lost 50% of my views since the operation, which is quite a lot. Go for it, ASDF. Go for it. You wouldn't be the first to use a corny joke in chat. It's amazing how quick the algorithm changes. Oh. Yeah, that is very true. It is definitely not forgiving. Once it thinks you're not posting again, you have to fight to get it to do stuff again. Oh yeah, no, I'm not too worried. Be Marshy. I'm not too worried. It's just going to take time. And consistency. So that's the consistency that we're pushing towards. The streams help a bit, I think. And then consistently posting videos that people want to watch. Oh, we're into the dad joke section of the video. Yes. Oh, I'm sure everybody already knows my favorite dad joke. Corny joke, which is, what's brown and sticky? A stick. Yes, I did write an entire story about that. Yep, stick. Yeah, but the algorithm doesn't really care whether it's a person or an AI reading it. They care about people watching it. So, in the, I don't know, 2 months, month and a half that I've been off, there's been several new channels. So, there's a lot more fish in the pond now, so to speak. Okay, mental note. I'm saying this so that somebody remembers. The Twitch subscriptions actually follows the same pricing as I do on memberships. So a Prime sub would be $1, and then Tier 1 is $5, Tier 2 is $10, and Tier 3, 4, is $24. So it works out. Let's just keep that in mind. So, Kirasama, actually, you are Tier 2, I think. The question is, of course, how do I tell what tier somebody is? Oh, Prime. There it is. Okay. Just learning as we stream. That's the best way. On the job training. Which you don't really want to do as an astronaut, but, you know, things happen. Fair enough, Alec. I mean, there's also a generation of people that are used to that content, so nothing I can do about it. All I can do is do the stuff I do as well as I can do it. And yes, AI currently is the worst it'll ever be. So, I mean, yeah, there's nothing I can do with the AI channels. I can just work on my channel, which is why we're doing the streams. We're adding in sound effects. We're trying to improve the music situation with the pacing of stories. You know, trying to up the quality if we can. Hey, I make mistakes in pronunciation all the time. Ask the German people about the German sentence I said last night before. Mistakes happen. It's all about numbers. If I was reading at a 99%, well, let's play again. 99% accuracy, 99.9% accuracy on a 10-minute story, how many mistakes do I make? 3. No? 13. Jeremy, the problem is German looks a lot like Afrikaans. Nah, I suck at Afrikaans, but I do know a bit of Afrikaans. So when I see German, I try to pronounce it like Afrikaans, which is going to sound bad for a German and sound okay if you speak Afrikaans. So that's the big thing. Ik spreken die Deutsch. And then there's also like Danish and all of that. So they're very Danish. So they're very similar. So when I see that sort of spelling for like an Afrikaans word, I pronounce it like Afrikaans, which is not great, but it just is what it is. Yeah. Fair enough, Jeremy. Fair enough. So, I mean, Afrikaans is going to be very similar to Dutch. It also depends on which type of Afrikaans. This is South African Afrikaans rather than Namibian Afrikaans. Namibian Afrikaans is more German. South African Afrikaans is more Dutch. Yeah. I think a lot of people think it's a easy cash grab, so they're just shoving it into the AI stuff and not double checking. I think that you can get decent quality out of AI, but you do have to put work into it. So, like putting pauses in, making sure the stuff's pronounced at least adequately, if not correctly, and then that the pacing's right. Yeah, there was a German outpost there. But there was a lot of crossover between South Africa and Namibia. So that's why it's Afrikaans with German. Theirs is closer to Afrikaans than it is to German. English is... It steals from every language. It's a chimera language. You really have to get down to it. Yeah, some of the AI. I mean, I have played around with it. Way back when I was trying out a thing called TTS Theater, where I had each person with a different AI. But the amount of editing you have to do to get the pacing right and the inflection right, I was just like, well, I could just do it myself. So, it is possible. I can't remember. One of them, you can put pauses in, you can change the inflection. It's all pretty there, but you need to be willing to put the effort in. Yeah, well, I mean, at that point when I was fiddling around with the TTS, I'd been doing YouTube narrations for 3 or 4 years, so it's kind of like, well, I can do the thing, so let me just do the thing. Go ahead, ASDF. You're going to ask the question. I reserve the right to not answer if I don't want to. I'll try and answer. Thank you, Alec. Thank you. Hopefully that variation will continue now that I've had the operation. They installed several new voices. An email about panic attacks. Vaguely. I do vaguely remember something like that. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm glad that it helps. I really am. And, I do vaguely remember it. I just double-checked, reminded myself what it was about. Unfortunately, there's so much I have to take in every day that some things just become a blur. But I am very, very, very glad that it helps. 3 hours and 8 minutes we're going for. I'm going to try and go for 4 hours because I have heard that it might be the special number. You need to aim for a 4-hour stream at least. So we'll see what that does. Voice is also handling quite well, I think. Not good enough for another narration, but definitely good enough for chat. A chat. Good morning, Wolfos. I hope you're doing well. Or afternoon. It's my afternoon. So that just confused the crap out of me. Don't know whether you all noticed the song just changed, and Wolfos said something in the chat, but the song changed to a song called Wolfson, which is Wolfos with an N at the end. I don't know. It's like, okay, you're taking my computer over. The social battery. It does. It also depends on the chat. Look, streaming is a job just as much as anything is a job. I think a lot of people go like, well, being a laborer is harder. Yes, it is. Being a laborer is definitely harder. But why are you comparing being a streamer to being a laborer? Being a streamer is similar to being an office worker, which is still a job, and still not as bad as backbreaking labor, but it's still a job. So, yeah. Fair enough, Brian, and no worries. Rather sort out what's happening in front of you than worry about us. Yeah, I mean, if you need to take care of your voice if you're going to be doing it on a regular basis. The other trick is anything that you do today is going to show tomorrow. It's like exercise. So you exercise today, your muscles hurt tomorrow. So talking for long periods of time is similar to that. Yeah, I mean, I've done backbreaking labor. I know what backbreaking labor is. This isn't it. This is a walk in the park compared to that. But it does work in different parts of you. So it's you have to be on all the time, which is difficult. You can't just sit in silence and just go to like your not happy zone, but just a neutral state. And there's a interesting sub-emote. I wonder if my mod did that. Yeah, I mean, each job does its own thing and works off its own part of you. So having to sit and pay attention for multiple hours, that's difficult. Just your ability to concentrate wanes after 45 minutes. So having to do it for multiple hours, it's why you get more rambly as time goes on. Oh, goody. A Highlander reboot. I'm not looking forward to it. I don't like reboots. I don't think this has been a good one. Well, not many at least. Oh, cool. That works in Twitch chat. It doesn't work in combined chat. So that's something to remember. That's fine. I have Twitch open on my other screen. I might even need another damn screen over here somewhere. Cassius, thank you for becoming a channel member. It is very much appreciated. If you head over to the Discord and let me know your Discord name in Discord, you can get a fancy schmancy color. Thank you for the Prime, Wolfos. It's much appreciated. Cheers, Rogue Minion. Hope you have a good one. Actually, what was that? Awesome. We reached our goal. Thank you very much. We did a goal, yes. Big cheer. Woo! Charlie cheer. Yeah, baby. There you go. Wolfos, are you in the Discord? Wolfos. No. So, yeah, if you're a Prime or a subscriber on Twitch or a channel member on YouTube, and you want to join the Discord server, it is listed somewhere. And you can get a fancy smash calendar. Color. And there's the Discord server for anybody who's interested. Cassius. All right. Just give me a second. Wolfos. 40. There we go. Jump. There you go, Wolfos. You got your fancy smashed color. You could proudly show it off in the Discord server. Cassius, do you perhaps remember what tier you were? Cheers, ASDF, and thank you for popping past. Hope you have a fantastic day. Cool. And there you go. Cassius, you got a fancy smancy color too. It's a Nolly badge plus a color. That's awesome. Thank you very much, all of you. It truly is appreciated. Doing stuff and things and... Don't worry about it, Cassius. It's fine. Any membership is appreciated. It doesn't matter. Even if you're not a member and you enjoy the content, it matters. So, don't worry about it. It's all good. That is equivalent to watching 200 videos, or 200 adverts, 300 adverts. I'm just doing mental math. So, it is very much appreciated. Yeah, sometimes. I worked in tech for a while. Not anymore. Not for a very long time. Greetings and salutations, Satara. Hope you're doing well. Alec, I am not sure. But if you were a tier 5, then probably. I can fully understand that, Cassius. I do. That's why I always say, look after you and yours before you worry about me and mine. And I'll say that until I no longer do this. I know how rough it can be. When even just $1 makes a difference in a month. So... Okay, there you go, Matty D. You got your color. Awesome. Snackers United. Always. So, I mean, I do own a house. I own a house I don't live in, so I understand the cost of a house. I also have a person staying in my house, permanent security guard, 24-hour security guard, so they don't steal the pipes out the walls again. So that's fun. Thank you for the gifted sub, Brian. It's much appreciated. And it goes to Darwin Hunt. This is PSA. Neither I nor the person gifting the subs choose who gets it. It is random. So, yes. I think we'll keep this one to 3.5 hours. Maybe. Yeah, 3.5 hours I think is good. My voice isn't doing as bad as it was yesterday, which is always great. But I do need to eat lunch at some point. No, I got snacks. Snacks. I tell you, snacks. Do some ASMR. Don't worry, I will mute the mic when I chew. Well, I'm glad that the stream was entertaining enough to keep you occupied, Alec, but I do understand needing to sleep. It's one of those things. So I hope you have a fantastic evening and get some sleep, so that at least you don't suffer when you're at work. Oh, it's my pleasure, Brian. Fair enough. But it also depends on who you're on the call with. And streaming, you have to abide by the super secret rules that they won't tell you about. Cassius, thank you for popping past. I hope you have a nice, smooth journey in your travels to drop your child off. I know how that drive can be quite treacherous for very different reasons. I don't think that is a conspiracy theory, Alec. I'm pretty sure nobody knows what the terms of service are in its entirety. It's just, the terms of service for YouTube is 278 pages. As far as I remember. That's 274 A4 pages. So it's a lot. Or is that the rule book for Magic the Gathering? I think that's the rule book for Magic the Gathering. I wouldn't be surprised if it was about the same length for the TOS. I don't think there's a single person that understands how the algorithm works either. Well, this is electrolyte and caffeine. Because I drink so much water, I need to drink a lot of, because I drink a lot of water, I need to also rehydrate. I drink so much water that I dehydrate. That's just the human body. I think it's the core rules for Magic the Gathering. I could be wrong. That number 273, it's stuck in my head for some rule set. Could be Magic the Gathering, could be TOS, could be Twitch. I don't know. My brain's just saying 273 equals rules. Fair enough, Cassius. Hannah's nice 4x4 action down the driveway. Just watch out for the speed bumps. Yeah, Dark Mirror. That's why I drink rehydrate stuff. It's not pure. Yeah, well, it is pure water. It's just rough if you drink. I mean, 6 to 8 liters of water a day. Depends on the day. So this jobby is a liter and a half. I've drunk 2 of these today. I've drunk 3 or 4 cups of coffee, and this is my first one of these. So lots and lots of liquids. Well, I mean, before I did all of this, I didn't really drink that much water. I drank coffee. That was my liquid. But you can't do that before narrating. Most things are mostly water. So, yeah. The first thing to dehydrate in the human body is the voice, and the last thing to hydrate in the human body is the voice. It also takes 2 hours between drinking the liquid before it affects the voice. So I start the day off by drinking 2 liters of water. And then 2 hours later, I can start recording and just keep topping off with water. And it's a stupid thing, but trying to force yourself to drink 2 liters of water just after you wake up is not great. It's one of the weird things that I've learned with all the voice work. Yeah, definitely. But a random factoid. So when you see people, in theory, sipping water so that they hydrate their vocal cords, they're not hydrating their vocal cords. It takes 2 hours. If you're experiencing dehydration now, there's nothing you can do about it for 2 hours. So it's all about hydrating to a proper level and then just staying there for the whole day. Yeah, I mean, it's rough. When I go out, I was like, well, I'm going to go to the bathroom often because I've drunk 8 liters of water today. And that's a normal day. Yeah, probably also a post-nasal drip. And would bruise the flap at the back of your mouth. I can't remember what it's called. Definitely would explain that. This is something nobody ever tells you. Even when you're like looking on YouTube for voice acting stuff, nobody ever tells you this. Like, well, stay hydrated. How do I stay hydrated? Drink water. Okay. How? What is the timing on these things? So, there it is. Because, I mean, it was one of the first questions my surgeon asked me or doctor. my voice doctor. It's like, how much water are you drinking? And we're like, I'm not. And he called me funny names and said, well, you need to drink a lot of water. And you need to keep drinking a lot of water. Yeah. So, getting the balance between water and then hydrate. So this is hydration formula. So it should counteract the water from this. And it has caffeine in it, so that's good. Anything with caffeine in it is good. Well, not anything, but most things. Fair enough, Wolfos. Headaches are always a pain. Pun not intended. Yeah, I mean, drinking water. Why, it can't be bad, can it? It's water. It's healthy. They don't tell you if you drink too much, you pull the salts out of your body through reverse osmosis and can cause some serious issues. There's that medical channel. He does the so-and-so is presenting with this in the emergency room. And there was a competition for a switch, and a lady drank 4 gallons of water, 5 gallons of water, something ridiculous like that, and died, or almost died. Yes, electrolytes is what plants crave. Specifically Gatorade. Ah, yes, it is Chubby Emu. But I mean, like drinking water, I would never have said that drinking water is part of my job before I started doing this. Now it is part of my job. Same as a consistent sleep schedule. That was never really a thing for me, but it has to be a thing now. So, because it affects my voice so badly. Right. We've made it to 3 hours and 30 minutes. Really awesome. Now let's see how deep can we go. Fair enough, Dogma. Fair enough. I think I'm going to call it a stream. Feeling good, but I also don't want to push it too much in case it affects my voice tomorrow. So at least now I know I can do a narration, 15-minute narration, and a 3-hour stream, 3.5-hour stream, and it doesn't seem to have affected my voice too much. But we'll only really be able to tell tomorrow. I'd think that you'd burst your stomach before you drown yourself. But anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic evening, or morning, or night, whatever it is for you guys. You have a nice day, a good day at work, a nice sleep, whatever it may be, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Goodbye.